Well, I'm here in Artist Alley. This is the 2008 San Diego ComicCon, and I'm at the table of Jen OTTAVIANI. Well, I think I just want to mention that because people don't realize just the amount of craft and thought that's going into one of these books. They just look and they see pictures and words. They figure, well, it must be easy. And in fact, this is, in many ways, this must be a much more difficult thing than producing a conventional book because of the collaborative nature that has to go with the research. You do all the research.
Well, you can tell by my body language that I'm not going to entirely agree with you. A, because I find the notion of writing fiction very daunting. Myself. It's what you're familiar with is what seems easy, and what you're unfamiliar with seems hard. And I found also that a great number of people who come up at shows or who I talk to via whatever venue do in fact appreciate how much research goes into these. That's one of the most frequently asked questions.
That's
how long did it take you to do this?
Well, I always feel like when someone asks me that question, it's like, I'd like to do this too, but I don't know how easy it would be for me to do it. So they want to know, could I fall into it or not, you know?
And the answer is you can fall into it, but you better be ready for a long, long trip to the bottom.
Now, if I was want to do science comics and I didn't have a degree in science, I mean, that would be a little bit rugged, wouldn't it?
It depends on what your interests are and what your research skills are. I disagree that you can only write about things that you have a strong academic background in or personal experience in. My favorite example is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy.
Say that again.
Anna Karenina by Tolstoy.
Okay.
Not a woman, but a fabulous book about a woman.
Sure.
And you can pick any number of characters written by Jane Austen, Alice Walker, whoever.
Sure.
So you can write about stuff that you don't know in your heart of hearts.
I'm glad you said that.
Easier.
Now that leads to the next question. People say comic books about science. I don't know any science, do I? You know, then the next thing, would I need to know any science to appreciate it?
Well, the hope is no. Because if I've done my job well, you will learn what you need to know in the course of reading the story and getting engaged with the characters. And so, even though I'm talking to an educator, I must confess that education is a byproduct of entertainment, at least when I think I've done my job as effectively as I can.
You know, Will Eisner, who the comic industry's awards are named after, and passed away a few years ago.
That's right.
He was an absolute champion of the notion that comics could do anything and that they could be used to teach, and not in a didactic way, but in just a natural, fluid way.
Sure, and he did that with many of his works throughout his life.
And so, I mean, I think Eisner would be a good role model. What other artists?
He was a role model. He was actually very encouraging.
I imagine he was. He encouraged everybody. He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah, I can't claim any special status.
When I met him at a panel, and he's with my brother, who's a comic scholar, he patted me on the back and said, "What a good brother you have!" Like it was he was giving me credit for him to be my brother. He's just a wonderfully generous guy.
Yeah, he was.
Well, you know, to be successful like this, you're probably going to have to find generosity in others, and I'm wondering if there's artists and writers who've inspired you or encouraged you.
I don't think your hard drive is large enough.
Are there a couple of names that stick out in terms of just plotting and pacing and story, laying out pages and so forth?
Eisner, Joe Sacco, Neil Gaiman, Alan Moore. Oh, good heavens. Matt Wagner, Dave Sim, Kevin Huizinga more recently.
These are all major contemporary or recently retired or deceased masters of this form. So it's the form, again, these aren't scientist people, but they've inspired you. So it's just a natural flow, a natural medium.
And all of those people that I just talked about are in the comics world. There's another whole infinitely long list in the world of prose and in the world of nonfiction writing.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I think this is just fantastic, obviously, because I bought many of your books, and well, I plan to buy many of them in the future, and I'm going to hope to get people to use them in education. And you know, I mean, obviously, people don't have to just buy them for education. They are a pleasure to read. They are many of them. I think. I mean, you are an award-winning fellow, and this means that people in your industry, your peers, recognize that you are making comics that are top-notch, that stand up to anything that's out there, and they they're probably proud of the fact that there are some people now doing comics like the ones you're doing.
It's very gratifying. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Very good. Well, I'm sure I could talk more and more and more, but as you said, my hard drive's beginning to fail. So I hope we'll see this hopefully on YouTube very soon. And if there are any unfortunate noises or whatnot, I will of course edit them out.
Thank you very much. If there's any unfortunate things that I looked like,
I'm sorry, you're on the hook for that. I don't have Photoshop.
Can't fix that.